Alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Today we have Shamoun. He tries to refute the moon splitting miracle with a Muslim. Anyways, he tries to prove that the moon splitting did not happen with ignorance. I'm going to show you guys how many lies I'm going to get that coward caught in just one video. So let's get in the video and see his claim on the moon splitting miracle and make a fool of him and expose his lies.
What's the oldest source you have telling you the moon split?
So, Shamoun, the Quran is the oldest source that we have. So we have the Birmingham manuscript, the Quran, that dates back to the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And we have the Tupaki manuscript, which is 100 years after the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Because in Quran, chapter 54, verse 1 to 2, it's talking about the moon splitting miracle about the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. It says, the hour has drawn near, the hour has came near, and the moon was split in two. And then in verse 2 says, yet whenever they see a sign, they turn away saying, same old magic. So we know that the moon split in two, which is one of the signs of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And then when they saw a sign, which is referring to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, they turn away saying, same old magic. So the disbelievers did actually witness the miracle, but they said that that is magic.
The source.
I don't know. I just saw some.
I will tell you where you
Exactly. The Muslim that is talking to Shamoun doesn't know because he doesn't know about Islam.
from. The first person that we have whose writing survives. If there were others, we don't have their writings. Ibn Ishaq would mention the moon split, but there's a problem. The Sirah of Ibn Ishaq, Sirah Rasulullah, we don't have many copies of it. What we have is Ibn Hisham. Ibn Hisham, now, Ibn Ishaq wrote around 750 AD, if that dating is right. See, this is all assuming the later Muslim sources, your sources that were written 200 years after when Muhammad supposedly died, they're active.
All right, so Samshar is talking about the hadith. They were sources written 200 years after the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Well, anyway, let's take a look at Sahih Bukhari 3869. So those are all eyewitness accounts. Yes, written 200 years after the Prophet Muhammad, but before it was even written, we have a chain of narrators. We have a musnad that dates back to the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. We have musnad. Those are all authentic hadiths that we're 100% sure of. And we don't only have one hadith or two or three. We have like 6, 7, 8. I'm only going to cut here. I'm only going to quote 3 of them. Like Sahih Bukhari 3869. The moon was split into 2 pieces while we were the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in Mina. He said, be witness. He said, Shadu. Then a piece of the moon went towards the mountain. Sahih Bukhari 3637. Then the Meccan people requested Allah's Messenger, peace be upon him, to show them a miracle, and so he showed them the splitting of the moon. So the people of Mecca requested the Prophet Muhammad to show them a miracle. They wanted a sign, so he showed them the splitting of the moon. All of that we have musnad. That's the musnad right here. Also, we have this eyewitness account. We have this eyewitness account as well. Sahih Bukhari 3638. The moon was split into 2 parts during the lifetime of the Prophet. So we actually have a lot more eyewitness accounts. I just quoted like 3. And in Kitab al-Bidayah wa Nihaya by Ibn Kathir, he quoted in his book some of the disbelievers who actually witnessed the miracle. Like Al-Walid ibn al-Maghira, Abu Jahl ibn Hisham, Al-As ibn Wa'il, Al-As ibn Hisham, Al-Aswad ibn Abd Yaghuth, الأسود ابن المطلب وزعمة ابن أسود ابن الأسود النضر ابن الحارث. And Qadi Iyad, he's a great scholar. He had a very nice narration is in his book that not only the enemies of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, witnessed the miracle, they also said if this man Muhammad has kind of magic or trick, then he might have fooled us, because they witnessed the miracle and they said that it is magic and a trick, that he might have fooled us but not have fooled the world. So they asked the caravans that were out of Mecca, that they were Syria, Yemen, whatever, that they were out of Mecca, whether they saw this event or not. They asked the caravans that returned to Mecca, and every single one of them confirmed that they saw the moon split. So Shamoun, you're just a liar. And yes, the hadith, they were written 200 years after the Prophet, but before it was even written, we have musnad, chain of narrators that dates back to the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. And not only one eyewitness account, but we have numerous eyewitness accounts on it. So you're just a liar.
So let's assume they're accurate. Supposedly, Ibn Ishaq wrote his Sirah, his biography of Muhammad, around 750 AD. But then, in the 9th century, around 830 AD, notice this is supposedly 200 years after your Prophet died, Ibn Hisham took Ibn Ishaq's Sirah and he edited it. He removed stuff he didn't like. He removed stuff that made Muhammad look bad.
Yeah, again, lying and doing stupid lying and assumptions without any proof or evidence. Yeah, no, the typical Shamoun that lies to his audience on purpose.
And he removed what he thought was weak stuff. So the oldest source we have is nearly 200 years after your Prophet died, that the moon was split during the time of your...
So yeah, that's what I explained already. It says that your oldest proof is 200 years after Muhammad. Not only as a written source, yes, it's 200 years after Muhammad, but it doesn't need to be written, because the hadiths, they were not written at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, not all of them. But actually, we have a chain of narrators. We have the Musnad before it was even written down. And again, we have the Birmingham manuscript. We have the Tupaki manuscript, which is 100 years after the Prophet Muhammad, that has Surah Al-Qamar, verse 1 to 2, about the splitting of them.
In Mecca. So now, what source do you have? Because supposedly Muhammad claimed to be a prophet around the year 610 AD, and he remained in Mecca for 13 years. So we'll go 610, 623. What written source do you have from around that time? Okay, that says the moon was split.
About this, there
Yes, the Musnad, yeah, it was around this time that the moon was split.
was one Muslims who have been showing it left, right, and center.
Yeah, you got it. So you're basing your entire life, your life and afterlife, akhirah, on sources that are so unreliable, full of contradictions, and written.
Wait, Sam. Sources unreliable and full of contradictions? Don't let me get started on the Bible because I don't want to get into the contradictions in the Bible. But anyways, hadiths, they are more reliable than the gospels that you have. Your scholars do not agree that your gospels are actually your scholars says that your gospels, they're anonymous, and the names, which is Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they were added later on and they're anonymous and we don't know who written them. So don't let me get into that part. And by the way, hadiths, they're more reliable than the Bible that you have now, because we have chain of narrators, Musnad. They're so authentic. They are authentic hadiths authenticated by scholars. So don't let me get into that part.
Hundreds of years after your prophet supposedly lived, and you're willing to gamble your life. If you die today, my friend, right now, you die today. You're basing your akhirah, the afterlife, on these sources that are so embarrassing. You're embarrassed. You even said you read stuff you wish it wasn't there. And you don't know. You may die today. I may die today. It's not a joke.
Then, how do Muslims explain the moon words?
What moon verse? That moon verse is a sign. What sign? Is it the sign of what Muhammad did or a sign of the end? Finish the entire chapter, man.
All right, let's see again. That's something I already explained. The hour has drawn near, and the moon was split in two. So, verse 1 says that the moon was split as a day, or as a sign of the hour, a day of judgment. And then in verse 2 it says, yeah, whenever they see a sign, which is talking about the non-believers, when they see a sign, they see a miracle, ayah, they turn away saying, same old magic. So it says that when they see a sign, the disbelievers, when they see a miracle, they say it's old magic. This is a typical liar.
Oh, so it's a sign of the end?
That's what many Muslim scholars say. I don't believe anything in the Quran, so it doesn't matter to me. But how do you know chapter 54:1 is not about the splitting of the moon? How do you know that some Muslims saw that ayah and created a miracle to go with that ayah?
Yeah, because there are hadiths. That's why I think people
I
say
know. The hadiths were written when? In the time of Muhammad? In 54 verse 1, it says the moon was split. So they made up a story to make it like Muhammad split it. How do you know? What proof do you have that's not a made up story?
Because we have not only one eyewitness accounts with a chain with a musnad, but not only one, we have numerous eyewitness accounts about that.
If I had any historical proof, then it would have been much stronger.
That's what I'm trying to say. How come the world at that time, we don't have any catalog of the moon splitting at that time? Well, according to Farida, because a lot of people were sleeping.
That's what he said?
Yeah.
All right, Sam. Again, you're lying. So for you to understand, you're now saying that why is it not something historical? So number one, yes, people were sleeping at night, and so less people were awake to witness the miracle. So now we know that limited amount of people actually witnessed the miracle. That's number one. Number two, the miracle happened at night, and we don't know how much it took so the miracle happened. So when it happens at night, there's no moon in daytime for other countries. That's number two. Number three, no doubt a lot of people witnessed the miracle and saw the miracle happen, and no also doubt that someone wrote it down, or people wrote it down on a paper, because that's a miracle. It doesn't need a book, all right? It was just written down on a paper. And that's an event that happened thousands of years ago. That happened more than 1,400 years ago. So, of course, this kind of paper that was written on it, it was lost due to time. So, that's not a great argument.
Video responses to apostate prophet. When apostate prophet was making fun of the moon split, his response is, well, come on. At that time was night. How many people do you think would still be awake?
Oh, yeah, well, he's correct on that one, because a limit of people witnessed the miracle. But again, as I'm saying, yes, people definitely did witness the miracle. And don't let me get into historical evidence, because we have historical evidence that a king of India witnessed the miracle, and then he later on converted to Islam. I'm going to make a video about that one, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.